Good day, I'm Extreme, and I'm melting in this surprisingly warm Scandinavian summer, and also going on the ladder again with this very interesting egg priest, a very controlly Zoo-like priest sent in to me by one of my subscribers in Kentucky. If you actually have a very interesting deck that you want me to try out, please just leave a comment, send it to me, link some deck on Half Pound. I'm very much looking forward to anything that is very experimental and just very much interesting in a lot of ways. Really, on this channel, we just want to experiment and explore all the options we have in Hearthstone. Now, the thing is that this is about the card that is Dragon Egg. We already even have it in our hand, and we have an Abusive Sergeant to trigger it. Problem though is, we can't really get any value out of this thing. We can maybe kill one 3/2 with it, but that is really not the value we are going for. We would be able to pretty much make this at 2/3 for 1 mana. That is okay, I guess, but I really would just want to remove the Dragon Egg until we actually have board presence, and more importantly, have ways to actually buff it up enough to actually use it in some way. So I'm pretty certain at rank 20 we're going to go up against the Zoo. So we're going to play the Abusive Sergeant just so that we can actually kill the Flame Imp, the card that I couldn't remember what was called 20 seconds ago, which was the reason why I just said 3/2. So he doesn't play anything. It looks like we're actually going to play against a hand lock or a very controlling demon lock. So I'm actually rather confident with playing the Dragon Egg, especially since it does save us from any use of the Hellfire. There's a Blood Imp, so it still very much looks like a very controlling, handy demon locky thing. So let's just go for the Shattered Sun Cleric actually. Heal this one up so that we can actually attack and use it and keep going for face. Then we can actually use the Defenders of Argus between these two next turn, buffing it even more, higher value, making sure that it actually will be triggered, and just be happy. So we're going to coin probably the oh. Okay, well it still very much fits the theme still very much, but I'm still a little bit confused about can't remember seeing a Spellbreaker in these sort of decks, but they very much make sense. So really at this point I would we can't just trade in immediately, but we could also just actually be aggressive and let him do the trading. I don't see any reason not to, because especially if he goes in with a Spellbreaker into the 3/2 probably, I can just trade in my Defender of Argus instead and keep this egg. While it is only a 1/3, we will have everything die. Damn. Well, at least we get a Nubian egg, I guess. I mean, we can next turn actually go for Defender of Argus on it and heal. Actually, Defender of Argus trade and heal herself. That is a good play. He even goes down to 13 life tapping now, so that seems rather good. We will have a 4/4 and a 2/3. He has already used one of his Hellfires, and if we don't run into again someone using Twisting Nether, surprisingly enough, I think we are going to be in a rather good position here. And if you don't know what I'm referencing to, I think it was the third episode of third try at the third video on the Malygos Freeze Mage by Day 9, which you can look back on some weeks ago, I think. Very much surprising me with actually just pretty much killing both the important minions of mine and leaving me with nothing at all. With a Twisting Nether, something that I've never seen anyone use. While it is a cool card, it's very much a very expensive card for what it actually does. So and that was actually even after 2 Hellfires. So, well, it looks like he's actually going to trade away. Maybe throw the 2/4 into my 2/2. Actually going for a Drained Life, so we're going to get 2 1s. And he's also going to heal himself up. And make a lot of 1/1s though. That is a little bit of a problem. Can Shadow Madness that? Don't see any reason to. We can also could also actually just go in this way and heal. We could Shadow Madness a 1/1 to just trade away. But you know, we could also just heal, we do this, make sure that anything would still be alive pretty much after anything else. And another Hellfire is probably not going to go in our way with the Nerubian Egg now down. And it's probably also not the Twisting Nether. So if he is going to be consistent with what he has done before, we're probably going to see one extra life tap maybe, or he's afraid of actually going further down. Demon Fire, so we're going to see a 3-3. Interestingly enough, he's not going to use it for trading. Yes, he is. Okay, so at least there's some good thing here. We can still Shadow Madness trade, and yeah, actually we can kill everything here, so why don't do that? We can also even go for face with it, but I probably would still want to somewhat have a resemblance of a board. So let's just do that. Have more assurance that we're not going to run into any kind of Hellfires. Because actually our board is going to be stronger after Hellfire than actually it is right now. And we're going to deal 3 damage each turn. If he life taps, even better. And if we can some way trigger our Nerubian Egg, I don't think we can without him having a minion on the board. But we still very much can feel rather safe here, I would say. Dread Infernal is going to be a little bit irritating, but we can still very much just go for face. Drain life. Well, it's very controlling. I like it. But still very much we have a Piloted Shredder. And I would probably... we could either heal face or heal this. Question is if he has another Dread Infernal. If he has another one, he's actually going to kill the 1-2 or the 1-1. So it's probably better to actually do this just so that it doesn't get triggered by another of these wonderful Dread Infernals. So we can still trade away with it in the hopes of actually... yes, there we go. So the fact that he doesn't go for kill, he goes for the 4-4, funny enough. Yeah, it makes sense, I guess. But let's see. We're going this way. And we Shadow Madness, probably this, to go into this, right? We get a 1-1 Imp. We get some drop from this. Probably not a Doomsayer. Ah, should have done it the other way around, but who knows? Who could know? We're still very much just going to get something that is really well synergizing with our decks, or our deck, but we have to deal with that. Ouch. If we don't get another Shadow the Shadow of Death, we're probably a little bit in trouble here. But this is only going to be 3 + 2, that is 5. That is not going to be enough, sadly. So, I mean, we're going to be able to... yeah, that is still... it is going to be enough the next turn. Problem is, if he Mortal Coils, it is going to die and we have nothing left. But this is a trade that is going to make it possible, at least in somewhat, to stay in here. But, oh. Someone actually uses this card. I really like it. Oh, and the life tap also. I like that. Very much. So, there we go. He will trade away and actually get Ragnar's out and may actually be able to use it to his advantage. Especially since it will be a... yeah, pretty much he's not... if he doesn't go for the heal at any point, this is going to be very good for him. Jesus Christ, this guy has all the awesome but very much unusable cards. But I'm probably dead now. I like how I'm dead, but I'm very much probably dead. I'm even just going to heal this just to draw some cards. Oh, well, let's get some Ragnar's out on the board, shall we? I mean, if he already has it in his deck, I mean, he would probably want to use it, right? I mean, you cannot ever not want this to happen. This is just too fun. I mean, if we want to lose, at least do lose in style and not just concede. But pretty much we're dead, aren't we? Oh. Well, we can try. We can very much try, but we're probably going to still very much die. I mean, this die insect will have a 1 1/3 to hit our face, but if it does, we're in a little bit of trouble. How luckily it actually hits this, but 1-5. This is probably going to be what you would call GG. Sylvanas. Well, we would be able to get a 3-5 if he actually goes for the Die Insect. He would also be able to... You know what? I should probably concede, but I'm actually just going to keep staying. Just because I find this to be very much interesting. We can keep healing ourselves. He will probably keep on going for face, then use the Die Insect, hoping for 1 in 5 or 50%. And we hopefully get the 3-5. Damn, okay, that is very much going to be the last straw that really just breaks this. This is going to be impossible. He even just doesn't need that. That is actually overcommitting to the board. Pretty much. So that pretty much actually, that last play was actually enough to keep us still in here. Because we're still 1 HP away from actually being killed by this. And we have a minion on the board that may even save us for 1 extra turn. Or 2. 2 turns. As a Void Walker, we still have to get through that. And we're top decking. Well, that's a buff. That's great. But we're going to take 9 damage next turn. So we're going to go down to 2. And the Dark Bomb is going to kill us. I think we should probably leave. Though we also... Now we're not... We are really not close enough to actually to fatigue to actually have it matter. So... That should probably be disregarded, as it is 5 turns away and we cannot stay alive until then. Yeah. And we come Populator, nah. That's gotta be it. Let's just leave. It was very much interesting to try and see if we can do something, but against this thing, it actually seems to me like you actually have to have more than just 1 card in hand. Interestingly enough. So, let's go and see if we can get something more. Let's see if we can hopefully not go up against something weird as that. I mean, it was very much a high-end Demon Lock deck. So, I mean, it makes sense. Though there were some of the cards that weren't really that exciting. And we're going up against the Hunter, which is surprising, said nobody ever. Well, we're going to keep the Hunter Creep, obviously, because that is the highest value we can get. The Pilot Shredder will only be able to be played turn 4, so I will also remove that. The Dragonair can be played turn 1, and would at least be an assurance against something like the Explosive Trap. So I will also play that. Web Spitter. Okay. Well, at least the Hunter Creeper will be able to take care of that in a little bit of time. So that is going to be great. The Abusive Sergeant, yes, that's what that is what the card is called. The Abusive Sergeant would have probably been more favorable, but maybe next turn, actually. Get a top deck and Abusive Sergeant going in and heal. That would probably be what I would actually want. But he is actually going to go for that, interestingly enough. So we can Shadow Word Death it next turn. So, I mean, he probably won't keep trading. He will probably go for face. He is a Hunter. And if he actually just goes into one of these, I can just trade all the 1/1s in. So he would still only be able to kill a 2-mana minion for a 2-mana minion. Maybe a good 2-mana minion for a meh 2-mana minion, but still very much 2-mana minion. Okay, looks like an Explosive Trap in some way. So the Nerubian Egg wouldn't be the worst, but we probably would want to go in this way. See if we can get something out of that. Snake Trap. Well, I mean, at some point we have to trigger it. I mean, we are control focused. And this should buff it up enough to do this. And we can begin trading. So as long as we don't see an Explosive Trap, I'm pretty fine, actually. We can go for the Nerubian Egg next turn, just to have some extra assurance against an Explosive Trap. Especially since this 2-1 Whelp, in my opinion, is not going to be enough to actually have him be a little bit afraid of this. And this is not going to be perfect. So these two can actually trade perfectly fine with this. We're still going down to 22, which is never something that we would want. But, well, I'm just actually going to pretty much heal and go for face, Because this trading in is not going to be in any way favorable for us. We only can deal 3 damage to it. We still need to deal some extra damage to it, so I'm still very much looking forward to some kind of solution. We could also go in and then recombobulate to one of the 1/1s, probably making for something higher value than a 1/1 in itself. So, since that is now a 4/6, a 5/6 actually, interestingly enough, a 5/6, we can actually Shadow Death that thing, and yeah, it would actually make for the best thing, I guess. If we Shadow Madness this, we can get nothing out of that. We can buff this one for 1, but we still very much have to go through this. If we Light Bomb, we're going to kill all of his stuff, we're going to get some 1/1s down, and everything else is still going to be fine. And this one is actually not going to die, but we would have to trade in first, then Light Bomb, and we would lose our 1/1s. I think actually the Shadow Madness would be the best here. And then just get the Recombobulator down so that we actually have something to trade with.
In the light's name.
The Light Warden, actually really great. We can actually just heal and then trade. Actually, I would even keep trading with the Recombobulator just because this thing can actually snowball if it doesn't do anything about it. Especially if we can give it some extra HP or something like that. So, he probably will still go for face. He is a hunter, but I think we may be able to deal with this. I still very much am satisfied about how we actually dealt with this. If this is another snake trap, I think we're going to be fine. Can also Shadow Madness if this should be some kind of explosive freezing trap.
Time for a change.
No, it is an explosive trap or a misdirection, so let's do this. And I would say do nothing, actually, because I would rather trade with these into the Haunted Creeper than anything else. And I wouldn't want the Dragon Egg to actually be triggered right now. Or would I? Would I actually want rather to get the explosive trap to trigger? I'm thinking... Yeah, I actually think that it is okay for me to happen. So is it a misdirection? It is an explosive trap, so... We have a 2/1 whelp there. That one is killed. And... while it is true that all of these things can die still, we at least apply some pressure. And I think we are very much needed against this hunter here. And now, of course... Damn. Damn. Oh. Well, we can kill a lot of his stuff with the Light Bomb. But we will very much lose everything we have ourselves. But it will be the only way for us to actually stay alive. So... that actually is worth it. We can Sylvanas next turn and then heal. But he is still very much going to play the minions right now and actually being able to be the first to play him. I mean, he plays a minion. I play Sylvanas. He can just go for face and ignore Sylvanas. Especially with something like Dr. Boom. Crap. And... oh. Well, if this doesn't do anything, we're going to be in rather a lot of trouble. I do both of them obviously first so that no bombs go off. We wouldn't want. And please. Damn. That is 7 damage to the face and that is pretty much lethal. So we probably have to just go for a concede here. And that is 12 damage this turn. That is, and something else. It looks like he's just going to play his whole hand to show off, because that is what we all do. Yeah, it is, pretty much. Yeah. Oh well. What do you want? So, this has been rather... except for that this is a little bit sad to see. We still have been... I haven't been really that successful with it against hunters. And I don't believe that anyone would say that I wasn't aggressive enough. Normally, with decks like this, I'm not aggressive enough because I'm just way too control focused. Because I play way too many control decks, combo decks, and fatigue decks, as you can see with everything else here, at least these ones. So I'm not really that used to just being aggressive. But against the Hunter, you cannot argue that you actually have to be more aggressive, because that is the job of the Hunter. So I'm still very much in doubt about how I actually should have dealt with this. I may actually have been focused too much on value. That is something that I probably would have. I should maybe just have been even more invaluable with my trades, but still very much I could not really get. I would probably only have died 1 or 2 turns later if I actually would have some better RNG on the bombs and other stuff. So thank you for watching. We'll take that one on the ladder once more on Friday. Thank you for watching. See ya.